Hi students, today we are going to discuss an important aspect of special theory of relativity, and that is light cone. We will discuss the geometry of light cone, which will help us to understand that how events can be placed in past, present and future. The concept of light cone is based on two important laws. Number one, speeds greater than speed of light are not possible. Number two, dot product or scalar product of four vectors is invariant. By invariant, we mean the quantity that is same for all inertial frames. Now we will dig the mathematics of the light cone. Here we have a space-time contravariant 4 vector whose first component represents time. C introduced with time to make the dimensions of length. Now we will ignore x raised to the power 4, which is the fourth component of the 4 vector, so that we can easily represent remaining 3 dimensions on a page. A flash bulb, assume that a flash bulb fires a light at the space-time coordinates origin at r equals to 0 and t equals to 0. The scalar product of 4 vectors gives us equation number 1. Since flash bulb fires the light from origin, so putting the scalar product of 4 vectors equals to 0, which will give us equation number 2. On rearranging equation number 2, we will get equation number 3. And finally, equation number 4 is an equation of circle with a variable radius r equals to ct. Variable radius because the time will increase, radius of the circle will increase. Here we have an important point to keep in mind, that radius of the circles will increase with increase in time. Taking time along the vertical axis, the circles will with increasing diameter will constitute a cone. Here I have shown a same figure from 3 different angles so that it will be easy to understand that as the time increases, the radius of the circles will increase, and on joining these circles with variable radius, we will get a cone. The orange cone represents the positive values of time, while the blue cone represents the negative values of time. And as you see in figure 3, that these cones meet at t equals to 0, which is origin. As I said earlier, that for t greater than 0, these circles will make a cone in the upper half, and it is called forward light cone, represented by orange color. Forward light cone contain all points in space-time that would be visited by light released from the origin. Let it make more clear by an example. At t equals to 2 divided by c seconds, r, the radius will be equals to 2 meter, and hence at that time points outside r equals to 2 meter radius are not accessible, which means points outside of 2 meter radius will not get enlightened, and consequently you will get no information of those points which are outside of 2 meter radius. Similarly, the lower half cone is called the backward light cone, represented by blue color. It is set of all space-time points with the property that light released from any arbitrary point xyz could subsequently pass through the origin O. It is worthwhile to understand that the geometry of the light cone, the whole light cone forward and backward, is made up of straight lines representing the path of any light ray that passes through the origin. So the surface of light cone makes an angle of 45 degrees with the time axis. Since the light cone is defined by the condition that the scalar product of 4 vectors is equals to 0, and since scalar product of 4 vectors is invariant, it means that it has the same value in all inertial frames, so it follows that the light cone is itself an invariant concept. That means observers in any two frames will always agree as to which points lies on the light cone. Now we are in position to discuss various parts of the light cone. Light cone is divided into 5 major parts. The upper cone is known as the forward light cone, and the points inside the forward light cone are known as absolute future. Absolute future of those events which occurred at t equals to 0 at the origin or earlier than that. Similarly, the lower cone is called backward light cone, and points inside it are known as absolute past, and the points outside the light cone are known as elsewhere, which is the fifth and final part of the light cone. Here we have a light cone in the figure which has 3 main points: origin O, point P which lies inside the forward light cone, and point Q which lies inside the backward light cone. For t greater than 0, for the values of time which are greater than 0, any event that occurs at point P is later than any event at O as observed from any frame, S frame or S prime frame. In particular, if P lies inside the forward light cone, then all observers will agree that an event that occurs at P is later than one at O. This is known as absolute future. Absolute because all observers will agree that P is the future of O. In a similar way, if Q lies inside the backward light cone, then Q is earlier than O as measured by all inertial observers. And this region is called absolute past. Absolute because all observers will agree that Q is in the past of O. Here, by the points O, P and Q, you can assume any events. Now we are in position to discuss causality. The interval between 2 points or 2 events E1 and E2 can be divided into 3 categories. The 3 different possibilities have their own names. If the interval, which is known as delta S square, is less than 0, then events are separated by a space-like interval. And if delta S square is equals to 0, then the events are separated by light-like interval. And if delta S square, the interval between the events, is greater than 0, then events are known as that they are separated by a time-like interval. Here in the left figure, we have 4 points, origin O and a point Q inside the forward light cone, and a point R on the edge of forward light cone, and a point P which is in the domain elsewhere. The point Q within the light cone is separated from O by a time-like interval, a signal traveling at a speed less than c. C is the speed of light. So a signal traveling at a speed less than c can reach Q from O. The point R on the edge of the light cone is separated from O by a light-like interval, and a signal moving at the speed c can reach R from O. The point P is outside the light cone. No signal can reach P from O. Finally, if one event, let's say event A, an explosion for instance, is the cause of another event B, the collapse of a distant building, then A must obviously occur first in time, since causes always precede their effects. Therefore, nothing that happens at O can be the cause of anything that happens at P, nor the other way around. Consider, here we have a figure in the right corner. Consider that a light cone with 3 events E1, E2 and E3 at 3 different points O, P and Q respectively. Point P is located at the radius R1, while point Q is located at a radius R2 from the origin. At both P and Q points, atoms A1 and A2 are placed, and assume that both atoms are excitable with the help of photon emitted from the origin. Now at t equals to 0, a photon of light starts traveling from origin O. At time t equals to 2 divided by c seconds, this photon will reach at point P. Hence, it is possible for this photon to excite the atom A1 at time t equals to 2 divided by c seconds. But it is not possible for this photon to excite atom A2 at time t equals to 2 divided by c seconds, due to the reason that atom A2 lies outside the light cone of this photon, and it is not possible for the photon to travel the radius r2 in time t equals to 2 divided by c seconds. So you can say that point P is the absolute future of O, while point Q lies in the domain elsewhere.